No worries. Dude, it's going good. It's a pleasure to be on Coach Red Pill. Big fan. Would you like me? Let me repeat them for the crowd. I really think that you're no. Okay, all right. No, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was it. That I mean, after that, they came after me. Look, I've always been a Republican in comics, which is weird. I mean, can you hear me? Oh, that's where you're muted. They said unmute your mic. Can you? No, they can't hear me either, can they? Oh, okay.
Tell
I
them that.
brag that we do this all the time, coach, and I'll tell you, we're yeah, I'm not
Okay.
muted, but you are.
Now I'm on. Okay. Shit. Damn, man.
We
Boomer
have to do
tech. Doom boomer tech. What can I say? And by the way, is my voice sounding okay, or is it sounding like Barry White? Because I don't know what the fuck is going on with my OBS setup. Sometimes I sound like Barry White. So chat, do me a favor, and sorry about the snafu. If you guys can hear me properly, hit one. I'd appreciate it. And if you hear me weird, press two. I'll let the chat catch up. Yeah, sounds fine now. Great. No, it's not filters, Flux Core. Sometimes, for some random reason that I have yet to figure out, at random, my voice will sound like Barry White. I'm not kidding. The
There's
mic
nothing
will
wrong
do
with
so.
that.
Well, no, but yeah, but for sexy time, there's nothing wrong with sounding like Barry White. But when we were talking about something else, you want me to. So tell me, baby, how about when you were working at DC Comics? That's fucking weird, right? So
It would be weird. Yeah, I would be off. I'd be unsettled by that. I would find it to be off-putting. So,
yeah, and
but
and and,
no,
and
you sound good.
good.
Everything's good. The chat says 111.
Okay, so let's get going. So you basically got non-personed after the election of Donald Trump because of the MAGA hat. Is that basically it? What happened to you?
Yeah, I got canceled. They call it. They used to call it unpersoned, but you got to get with the time. Now they call it canceled.
Yeah,
They go, "Oh,
deplatformed.
he's canceled. He's canceled, isn't he? We've all canceled Ethan Van Sciver." And that's kind of what they do. Yeah, I wore a MAGA hat. I was so proud. I actually I did like a roundhouse kick in midair after Trump was elected.
Uh-huh.
I was so excited. I didn't think it was going to happen. I believed the mainstream media. I was not expecting it,
Not
and
did I.
so I knew all of these arrogant SOBs and comics that I deal with were going to be utterly crushed. But I thought they'd be crushed in the way that I was crushed when Mitt Romney lost. I used to like Mitt Romney,
Yeah.
so yeah, 2012 he was great. Now not so much. But I thought it was going to be like, hey, I'm going to have kind of a sick tummy for like a couple days, but I'll get over it. No, these people are nuts. Like after Trump was elected, it became clear that these people are insane. And over time, I've come to realize that they're absolutely right to be insane. Me wearing my MAGA hat was I'm like a minority of one in comics at this point. Just openly like top rated DC, working on the biggest projects, and an open and out Republican who's wearing a MAGA hat and saying, because Donald Trump won this election, as you all know, uh, we own the Supreme Court for an entire generation, and you know what that means. So it wasn't elected and Trump being a problem. It was the collapse of social justice. And they all knew that.
You think that that's
I
it?
mean,
I
I
mean,
knew it, but I didn't understand it.
yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying because, like, look, what happened to me was I was actually traveling at the time. I just that day, that night, the election night, I arrived in Ukraine with my family,
Mhm.
and so we checked into the hotel and all the rest of it. I wake up the next morning. It was like a long night. Because we're all tired and stuff, and I had two small children, and so we were all like tired. And I wake up, I check my phone, and I'm expecting, Hillary won, and it's Donald Trump.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought it was a goof. Okay, I thought, am I on the New York Times or is this a New York Times parody or some shit? I thought it was a genuine goof. I couldn't believe it, right? And I instantly turned on the TV news and CNN, and I'm seeing the reporters there. They're shell shocked. They're like, "What the fuck happened?" And they look like after, if it had been like, after Kennedy was shot, like that. Okay, it was
Yes, yes,
fucking
yes.
weird, man. I mean, it was an unexpected result of an election. Okay,
Yeah.
fine, but this is not the end of the fucking world. This is just it happens. Your guy loses sometimes. Big fucking deal. But yeah, my thing about it is that they have tried to uh, uh, not only demonize the guy, but sabotage anything sensible that he might try to achieve. I mean, they're even shitting on the fact that he's trying to denuclearize the Korean Peninsula, and they're having a complete shit fit over pulling troops
Of
out
course
of
they are.
Syria, which is absurd. Even Naomi Chomsky, for crying out loud, the uber pacifist motherfucker, he's like, oh no, I think that's a bad idea. We should keep on killing Syrians. What the fuck? It just seems
Coach,
insane to me.
you quickly learn that SJWs kind of insinuate themselves on one side of an argument until we position ourselves, and then they realize they quickly have to take the other position. We can never agree, and I'm something happened to me this week that, Coach, this is weird. This is going to blow your mind. Did I tell you this?
Sure, why not?
Should I tell you this?
I'm,
It's
I'm,
comic book
I took
related.
acid, so nothing is gonna blow my mind.
Oh my god. Oh, I wish
What?
I did. Took acid. No, listen. I had this writer who was going to work with me on this. Okay, first of all, let me just preface this by saying, after I left DC Comics under constant harassment,
Mm-hmm.
DC Comics basically said, get rid of your social media so that you can disappear, or else, that's it, or else we can't work together. And I said, well, I can't get rid of my social media, so I got to go. So that's kind of what happened. So after that happened, these SJWs were celebrating. They were dancing up and down. They thought they like effectively destroyed my career. I crowdfunded a comic book. I just thought, well, I'm going to crowdfund a comic and let's see how it goes. We raised $628,000 on the first issue. So social justice is shit. It doesn't. Nobody wants to buy it. It doesn't mean anything. Standing up against social justice, which means providing a good product that has nothing to do with their identity politics and all their weird, sanctimonious, nonsense. They're garbage. People want it. I mean, people will pay for that product and they want to support it. And so that infuriated them. It infuriated them that I was so successful. And I had my first 7-figure year this year under these
Wow.
circumstances. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was dynamite. And nobody's making that money in comics. People in comics are eating cat food right now. There's no money in comics anymore. Comic shops are closing down and everything. So,
Yeah, I know. I followed Diversity in Comics, and he has this rundown of comic book stores that have closed, and it's tragic. It's an industry going down the tubes, but there's consumers who want to buy this shit. What the fuck?
I don't. I don't think there are consumers that want to buy it. I don't think that's what it's about. Social justice isn't about making money. It's not about capitalism. They say, fuck your capitalism. They say that to you. You're just like, what about making money? They're like, all you think about is money. All you think about is money. Yes, I'm in business. That's correct.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about what can I offer to make money. They don't think of it that way. They're what they've done and what they do. And you were talking to me before about being in, can I say this, in
Sure,
publishing? And
sure, sure. No
okay.
problem.
So, you've experienced it. You understand what it is. It is
Yeah.
a deliberate infiltration. It isn't about taking over an industry or a hobby or a medium. in order to make it profitable for themselves. It's just, hey, here's something that's popular. We're going to move in. We're going to declare everyone who's involved with this to be some sort of toxic masculine bigot. We're going to get all those people out of here. We're going to replace them with weird problem spectacled blue-haired women. And then we're going to make changes that nobody wants. But at the end of the day, what we've done is we've used this platform as a megaphone to espouse social justice. How long can we get this? How long can we get comics to be a beacon for our bullshit intersectionalism? How long can we do that before it dies? And once it dies, we move on to Pokemon. I don't know. We move on to something else.
Film. They want to go to the film.
Film is, well, I mean, my God, don't they already have Hollywood?
Well, no. Here's the thing. See, they can't. Pushing the SJW agenda that will kill a business. See, the Star thing has freaked out a lot of people in Hollywood. Okay, and Captain Marvel, people are really worried about Captain Marvel, because if Captain Marvel's, that social justice agenda is going to be on its way out in Hollywood, because it's too expensive. There's too much at play. You have a tentpole picture. You're talking, 150, 250 million bucks just to make the picture. Forget about the marketing. P&A is going to cost you another 70 million to 150 million. Okay, this is big business, and these pictures have to gross over $1 billion. I mean, holders above $1 billion, right? In order to
That's right.
be profitable. And like tentpole, they hold up the whole circus, right? If these pictures do not deliver, then it's just a lot of people are going to get fired, so they can't afford it. Okay. My thinking about Star Wars, we were going to talk about. I think that the Last Jedi was a SJW bullshit with Admiral gender studies, right? That shit isn't a fly. If Han Solo, the Solo picture, died because of the after effect of that SJW bullshit. If Solo was an SJW product or not, because I didn't even bother to see it.
Yes, it was.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay, and the chick was always like in the right, and she knew everything, and the guy, the bumbling fool.
Everyone's ass. Han Solo looked like a fool. Lando Calrissian was fucking his own robot. His feminist robot was preaching droid rights and autonomy.
God.
Dude, it was such bullshit. It was incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Oh man, damn.
They made Lando Calrissian pansexual, but pansexual meaning, well, it's a big universe. Like, what can you put your dick into in the great big wide galaxy far, far away? Probably your toaster, and that's what he was doing. He was fucking his robot, dude.
Oh God.
He cried when the robot got blown to pieces. She was like, dude, In a way, Coach, I think you should actually see this movie, because there are some laughs to be had. It's pretty funny.
Well, yeah, not like that. I didn't know that he blew up. He cried. He had a pansexual meltdown when his robot was destroyed. Jesus Christ,
he was out there like an SJW. This robot, like, droid rights, you're liberated, and then like a laser blast cut her in half. And Lando went out. It was great. Oh my God.
Maybe, Ethan, maybe it's the AI overlords that are controlling everything, that are socializing us into looking at robots as worthy of our emotional attachment. Maybe it's a secret plan of the AI, something like that. Jeez,
well, they are doing that, aren't they? Every time you look at Drudge Report, there's something about new sex robots coming out of Japan.
That's the future. I'd buy long on that. I'd be buying futures on that. No question.
Coach.
What?
Let me explain something. I'm gonna go off here on the fucking Japanese, okay? And this is, don't worry, it's not gonna be racist. You idiots over there. You should be making robot Godzillas. If you have the technology to make actual like robots that are lifelike, what the hell are you investing billions of dollars making lifelike humans for? Humans are cheap to make. I can make one. You can make one. We can all make humans for free. It doesn't cost fucking anything, and you'll never do better unless you're gonna do like the Terminator, like so bullets can go. You'll never do better than more realistic human than a natural one. What you could be doing is building Mecha Godzilla, you idiots. uh, and become a world power again, become a serious military world power again.
Fuck
Maybe I
nuclear
shouldn't be saying
weapons,
that.
just make an army of Godzillas.
Of course,
Oh man,
stupid.
well, insofar as the sex robots thing, I think that that's the future. I think that there's going to be a demand for it, and apparently they are very lifelike, and it's. I think it's the future. It's creepy as fuck, personally, but there's going to be out there for that. I find it funny that feminists have a cow over sex robots, and they talk about if robots consent, which is just absurd. I mean, does the toaster have consent? Time you stick some bread into it and like push it down, raping the toaster every morning. Consider it. Stupid. But it's. I mean, it's how can the feminists are having a cow over it. I'm assuming is basically that they're realizing that if there are viable sex robots, then a lot of their power is going to be diminished because it comes obviously from sexual power, the sexual ability. That's the great power of women. That's always been their great power. Look, but we're straying from the conversation. What I wanted to talk about today is the comic books
I want to
thing.
talk about MGTOW and sex
Oh,
robots.
you want to talk about MGTOW and sex robot?
Yeah,
No,
it's a great conversation.
yeah,
I mean, that could be the future. You don't know what the next generation's up to. These kids, I don't know what they're
crazy
talking
kids.
about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
neither do
like
I.
this generation, this next like upcoming generation, I don't know what they're talking about. They're doing that weird dance on TV where you know what I'm talking about. What is that
Twerking?
dance where their arms are? What is it
Which
called?
one?
Where their arms are straight and they kind of wiggle their hips and they put their arms like side to side, like it's got to
I
be called.
don't know. I don't
You've seen
know.
it though.
I'm sure I have. The last thing I was up on was twerking and Miley Cyrus rubbing her crotch in public.
That was 10 years ago, Coach.
I don't. Yeah, well, that goes to show you how hip I am with the. I don't know shit what the kids are up to, but what
They're
I do
calling
know
it
is that
flossing in the
Flossin.
chat. Okay.
Flossin.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, chat. I think that okay, there seems to be like two strains. Okay, see, there's like more MGTOW, definitely. The whole notion of just like taking the whole society and just going away and just living for yourself, by yourself, with nobody around, which is kind of sad. Personally, I think that a lot of people are going to be out on a lot of important aspects of life because I think that having of your own and having a relationship with a serious relationship with a woman and having children with her is an aspect of life, and it gives you a lot to live when you have kids. Okay, I don't know if you have kids. I don't want to know. I don't want to.
I have 3. I am a father, of course.
So,
Not a
yeah.
childless weirdo.
Well, no. There's nothing wrong with being childless, right? But I think that the society is fomenting, and I think that that's catastrophic. Okay, I mean, a society cannot thrive if young men and young women are not procreating. Okay, that society will die. Okay, if they're just becoming crazy cat ladies, and the guys are all becoming MGTOW, what's there going to be left? You know what I mean?
Well, that's the ultimate dream. Like if men do become MGTOWs, and they do have sex robots. And by the way, this is way off in the future. I mean, I'm saying this is like 7-8 years away. These men are not going to. You don't have that drive to take care of a woman. Now, almost everything that men do comes down to sex.
Yeah.
Like the motivation for everything that you do, like what you go out, you make money. Why do you make money? You make money so that you can support a woman, presumably so that you can have sex.
Yeah.
It all boils down to that. Now, if men no longer have any incentive to go out and do something in order to have sex, women take over the world. Why would you you don't have to go to work. You don't have to do, I mean, these feminists can basically come in and take over every industry. Men can stay home fucking their robots and playing Fortnite. That's the future.
Oh God, depressing,
Is that
isn't
the
it?
future? I mean,
Okay, chat. What do you think? You think that that's kind of bad? They think that feminists are going to take over the world. Are just going to be relegated to their basements playing Fortnite and fucking their roots. That's just a
what is the
sad
incentive
thought.
to fight feminists all the time? They're a pain in the ass. Why do you want to go up against feminists constantly and try to, and you know what I mean? It's almost like when women come into something, when third wave feminists enter the workplace, you know what I mean? It gets men get a little edgy. They do. They either fall on their faces and become white knights, and
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
weird. I mean, that's
yeah,
weird behavior.
yeah.
Or they get resentful, or they just leave. Eventually, they just leave.
Yeah, the capable ones leave. Because what happens a
Yeah.
lot of times is that the whole office environment sort of like adjusts to this woman. And if the woman is not calm, she's just there because she's a woman, then it disincentivizes workers because they're like, why should I work so hard? This woman, she's here, she's remaining in her position, and she's not as capable as I, who was previously doing her job. And the best workers leave, and eventually that company begins to suffer and die. I mean, except now, the problem I'm seeing is that in our economy, it's such a monopolistic economy nowadays, where you have large corporations, you have monopolies or oligopolies, very providers of a service or just one provider of a service, like Google, for instance. This is a great example. Yeah, sure, there's DuckDuckGo, Bing, right? But really,
Hmm.
the whole thing is, right? And Google is
Hmm.
now is full of SJWs. Last week to James Damore, the guy of the Google Manifesto, great guy, and yeah, he was telling me basically that like a weekly minute of hate kind of situation, and he also said that people who did not have the right political ideas were systematically blackballed and part of the company, and the company in and of itself is just decaying. But it remains because it's a monopoly. A lot of people are saying, a lot of people on the right are saying, oh, the market will fix it. But what happens if you have a monopoly and the government is supporting this monopoly because of the different government contracts that the federal government has with Google and what have you? That monopoly will stay and it'll just decay. It'll just be rotting inside. And that's my fear about so much of the economy. And well, you heard about the whole market fiasco of the last few days, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
I want to compare what you're saying to comics because as I'm listening to you, it's occurring to me that the same kind of thing happens. The market cannot correct Marvel and DC.
yeah,
Marvel and DC basically are in a prime position. Warner Brothers
mm-hmm.
owns and funds DC Comics. They're just kind of, they're a
Sure,
loss,
yeah,
for Warner Brothers. And of course, Disney owns Marvel, and the comics can sell 5 copies. They're still going to probably produce them,
yeah,
because the characters themselves are so incredibly valuable. So there are no market forces that are going to force Marvel and DC to self-correct. That's just not going to happen. And I was talking about this today. Like a bunch more comic book stores are going out of business, and one in particular, Mile High Comics. These are the big comic book retailers. Without retailers,
yeah,
the
you're
comic book
fucked.
industry dies because in case people don't understand, it's like comic books have a middleman. There's they're the companies Marvel and DC. They produce comics. They solicit them through Diamond. And Diamond is a distribution company, a distributor. They send a little catalog out to all the stores, and they say, "Well, here's what Marvel and DC are putting out in 3 months. What do you want, and how many?" And then Marvel and DC will often overship. At that point, you didn't order enough gay Iceman comics. We're going to send you 3 times as many.
Uh,
So that's and by the way, you're paying the extra shipping weight costs and the taxes on these items you didn't want. So eat that. So in any case, if the poor retailer gets these social justice comics and they're not selling, it's Supergirl flying around with a non-binary whatever in the sky, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants to be lectured, either socially, politically, or any which way from the weirdos who make comic books. I know these people. I don't give a damn what they think. They're weird. I
yeah,
mean, they're creative, but they have no place trying to sort of mold society, these people. And so if the stores can't sell these comics, which they've put out for, they've paid for, uh, that's it. They can't return them. There's no returnability with these periodicals and comics. So basically, Marvel and DC already got their fucking money. Okay, the distributor already got their fucking money. The comic book fan can just decide to walk away. But essentially, the only person who really gets hurt by this are the small businesses, the mom and pop shops, the retailers who are stuck with all this unsellable, unsold product that they trusted. I mean, their entire business is based around Marvel producing awesome X-Men comics, Avengers comics that everybody wants to buy. And they're just not doing it. They're invested in selling social justice. It's the death of the comic book industry. Essentially, it's going to hobble around like a zombie for a few more years, propped up by Warner Brothers and Disney. But we can't go on like this. We just can't go on like this.
This is really interesting, the model you're describing to me, that the producers, the publishers, can basically ship what they want to the retailers, and they just have to eat it. Because like in mainstream publishing, that's not quite how it happens. What happens is that, see, a book publisher like, say, Penguin, or random, well, they're the same now, or St. Martin's, they'll show a catalog, the books that are coming up this fall or summer or winter. And the retailers, Barnes and Noble, and the little retailers will say, oh, we want this book, that book, the other. But they'll tell you how many they want. And if they get more, or let me rephrase that, if they get what they want and they don't sell, just remainder those books, okay? Because it's too expensive to ship back. And so nobody wants remaindered books, because remaindered books are a law of the publisher. So they're very tight about that. They want to be sending the right number of copies of each book. They never want to be in a position of remaindering books. This is true in hardcover. In paperback, it's a different model for instance, because a lot of times it's back catalog and what have you. But what's interesting to me is that, see, the comic books, from an outsider's perspective, always seemed as much about buying the comic sort of like a social place. Because bookstores used to be that, but then Barnes and Noble showed up, and it became like this market of books. And people would sort of like go buy their book and leave. Or maybe they'd hang around and reading, but there wouldn't be like a interaction. Because there was this bookstore in L.A., where I live, called Dutton's. And at Dutton's, you'd hang with the other customers, and you'd shoot the shit. And you'd shoot the shit with the salespeople. And there was a lot of interaction at that level. And I've always assumed that comic book stores are as much a place to buy the comic as a place to hang out. That's right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But you can't grow that way. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I'm your thought. You can't grow that way.
You can't grow that way. I don't think the next generation. Yeah, I think us, you and I, people our age who are accustomed to the ritual of going to a comic book store, maybe on every Wednesday and hanging out and shooting the shit with the retailer. That's one thing. These kids, the next generation doesn't do that. They buy things off the internet. If you tell them, look, in order to read, okay, you've got to read something. You've got to go and buy a pamphlet for $5. You've got to get in your car, find your local comic book store. It might be 20 miles away. You've got to drive all the way out there. You've got to probably deal with some people, some unpleasant smelling people within the comic shop, possibly. You may get hassled. Who knows? You're going to buy a bunch of books that you're going to take home and spend $25 on an hour's worth of reading material that's probably going to insult what you believe in. The model doesn't work anymore. It's just dead. These kids just want to point and click on Amazon. And so in order for comics to really survive, and I don't believe digital is the way. Digital is down 10% this year. People are thinking that, buying digital comics is the future. I don't think so. It's part of the future. It's part of the future, but comics are still a very tactile, collectible medium. They're not magazines, they're not newspapers. People do want to own them. So there's going to have to be a new system of distribution where people can just go on a website and point and click and have it in their hands within 24 to 48 hours. Whoever builds that, model is going to save comics. What's good about comics anyway?
Yeah, it's really fascinating because look, it seems that the decay in sales, is because of this SJW content, which nobody's, and they're shoving it down people's throats and they hate it, right? And the
Yeah.
same thing like happened in publishing, in serious publishing. In serious, starting, I'd say around the 80s, it started getting, the serious fiction started to become more and more divorced from what people were actually interested in when they read serious fiction. And it started being like, just people stopped reading serious novels. Back in the 60s, John Updike could have a best-selling book because we're interested in what he was writing about. But during starting in the late 80s and into the 90s, especially, books started to become serious novels. I'm not talking about genre fiction, which like hits a particular niche, like the murder mysteries and thrillers and romance novels. I mean, that's a different beast. I'm talking about like the more serious, which is similar to what you're saying. Serious literary books started to shrink in size, in market size, because the books coming out were just bullshit and were just not to people. And they started to become more and more books that people who liked were MFA students. And it's sort of like a very kind of like an MFA. The only people reading serious literature were MFA students who were producing this shit. And they became a lost leader. And then finally, a lot of publishers started sort of like phasing it out or just keeping it just a little bit, a few titles here and there, whereas the bulk of their yearly list would be more genre fiction. Because the serious books were just, nobody cared about it. They were just propagandistic and stupid. In fact, there was the story that came out. I was actually reading it. It's horrifying. It's a SJW story that's on Medium, the online magazine, and it's written by a woman from the point of view. And it's just you start reading it, and actually, I'm planning on doing a stream to read the story because it's laughable. It has no. It's not about real people. It's ideology,
Yeah.
and just bullshit. It's extraordinary. How could I'm being very inarticulate, but the point I'm trying to make is that serious literature like comic books and to go up its own ass and go up an ideological ass, the SJW ass, if you will. And sorry for the very. But that's where
I
it
think I've
went.
been sent pictures of that.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
I don't know if you heard about that.
No, what was that all about?
Oh man, you know who? What's her name? What's the GamerGate girl? The girl who the Five Guys, Zoe Quinn.
No, yeah.
Zoe Quinn's artist partner, a guy named Robbie Rodriguez. I'm a monster to these people. I'm Hitler to these people.
Well, yes,
He got
yes.
very
I hear you speaking to me now, and I feel my life even as we speak.
yes,
You seem like
yeah,
very Hitlerian to me.
genocide in every syllable.
Yes.
But yeah, like this guy took a picture of his own asshole and sent it to me on Twitter. Like on Twitter publicly, like, "Hey Ethan, here's for you, buddy." Yeah, and that guy has his job still. That's the way the industry is. I mean, that guy has his job. Everybody was, of course, horrified, but they were horrified because they were upset that it gave me ammo. It made me a victim, and they didn't want to hand me any like overt, oblique, like victimhood points, and that's what they were worried about. Comics is insane right now. It is absolutely insane. Oh my God.
But okay, like you're an independent now, okay? Does that seem
Yeah,
to be the
yeah.
future? Because I know that Diversity in Comics is also doing a comic book or two comic books. I know he does Iron Science. I think that's the name of it. I'm not a big,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not a comic book follower. You have to forgive me, but I know that he's doing that, and you're doing yours as well. What's the name of yours? Yeah, I should.
Cyberfrog.
Cyberfrog. Okay.
Cyberfrog Blood Honey. Look up Cyberfrog Blood Honey on Google. You'll find it.
Okay, I'll look it up right now. And Cyberfrog Blood Honey.
Yeah. One word. Blood honey's one word. You'll find it right away.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so
And go ahead.
yeah. So Zach's doing Zach basically crowdfunded Jawbreakers first. Now, his whole thing, he and I are like best buddies. So, we talked about this, we coordinated it beforehand, just like, hey, do you want to go first or am I going to go first? And he said he wanted to go first with the crowdfund. So he did his, and he made. I think he's up to like between 300,000 and 400,000. He might be at 400,000 now. $400,000 for a book. This guy's never done a comic book before, really.
Hmm.
Uh, so that was alarming. And then, of course, I came in and hit 628,000. So that was extra alarming. Do we point the way towards the future? I think so, and I think that's what they're worried about. These people are making fun of me for getting on YouTube. They're like, "You're a YouTuber now," because being a YouTuber, well, it is something it's a little goofy, but it is. I love being a YouTuber. Absolutely love it. I wake up like, yeah, I'm a YouTuber. But I mean, using YouTube as a way to market yourself. These people have no idea what they're doing. They're sitting around sucking on a dry corporate teat at this point, just hoping to be sheltered under this collapsing, industry. They're on the Titanic, just laughing at people who are manning the lifeboats too soon. It's all going down. It's all going down, and then you're going to wonder how exactly am I going to get the word out about my comic books? You're going to use Twitter. YouTube is very, very unique because it allows you to form a personal bond
Hmm.
with a big, wide audience.
Hmm.
Zach's got 93,000 subscribers. I've got almost 91,000 subscribers. That is collectively, we have more subscribers than any Marvel or DC comic sells. And so they look at us with some fear and trepidation. I set out to find comic book fans that had gone away. I remember in the 90s, comics were selling millions of copies. Where did those fans go? Where did those comic book buyers go? They're there. They
Hmm.
just gave up. You
Yeah.
go, you find them wherever they are. You find them on, uh, I talk about Star Wars. I've got Star Wars fans. I bring them back into comics. But these people are so, oh God, they're just stuck in this failing model. We really need some innovative and bright people who are going to try to change comics in order to sell it or to save it.
It's,
Uh, you
it
know,
seems weird from the outside. It seems that it was self-destructive. It wasn't new technology. It wasn't Amazon that killed the comic books industry, right? It was just a wave of ideology that swept through the industry and did content that nobody wanted, and yet it was allowed to endure. That's fucking bizarre. I mean, think about it
mhm.
like from an outer's perspective. I mean, like in publishing, what nobody noticed how serious literature was going down the tubes because what happened was that everybody was panicking about Amazon and the fact that retailers were going down the tubes, and so shuffle in the seismic shift where by now I think it's 90% of books hardcover bought online because it's just more convenient and they're cheaper and all the rest of it. Amazon has a de facto monopoly on the sale. That's where it went, and all the independent stores, books are gone. All of them, they're just vanished. I mean, yeah, here there might be some very small niche store, specialty store that somehow survive, but in general, the broad bookstore no longer exists. Not in the United
It
States.
has
It's all
to. It's all going to go. Like Barnes and Noble is hanging on, but it's going
barely.
to go.
Yeah.
It's going to go because it just doesn't make any sense anymore. We used to have so much floor space in our homes
Yeah.
devoted to enormous bookshelves with book collections full of books that we've already read and are never going to read again. For some reason, we don't throw them out. We keep them.
Yeah.
Uh, that's gone. That just isn't going to exist in 20 years. In
Mm-hmm.
10 years, it might not exist.
Well, no, I
Uh,
think that there are always going to be like people who want the hardcover, the actual, not necessarily hardcover, but the actual physical. I can say myself that I personally, for some reason, when I read an actual book as opposed to an ebook, which I do read, the actual book, I retain it more in my memory. And so I tend to read nonfiction on ebook, but like fiction or more important action, I read it the physical object, right? But be that the point I'm trying to make is that, see, the comic book industry, it wasn't something outside, apart from this ideology, that destroyed the industry. Is that an accurate assessment?
Well, yeah, it is a bunch of things. I mean, first of all, comics uh, became overpriced. I mean, $5 for a comic book is too much. It's just too much, especially when
Yeah.
it's not going to be very good. And they have to raise the cover price because they're just not selling as many as they did. When you're selling 8 million copies of Spider-Man #1, you can afford to charge $1 for it on the cover.
Sure.
But when you're selling 20,000 copies of Spider-Man, you're going to have to charge $5, and it just eats itself. But of course, other factors play into it. Video games, people are distracted by more entertainment. There are more things to do. I mean, there are more options for your attention at this point.
Hmm.
But again, I can sell a comic book to anyone. I really can. It's not hard to sell a comic book. Comic books are fun. They're colorful. They're cool. I can make a comic book. Cyberfrog is going to have a chromium cover. It's going to look really, really pretty. It's going to look like the Lamborghini of comics, and that's
Uh-huh.
what it's going to be. I can sell it to anyone. I can sell that shit to absolutely anyone.
Now, by the way, when's it coming out?
Probably around March. It's still not done yet. I've still got 15 pages to go on this thing. So
15
I mean, it's a
pages out
draw.
of how many?
75. So
So okay, so you got a chunk to go. So yeah, you're
yeah,
you're
yeah.
busy bee. Okay, man, it is more exciting though. Okay, it's sad to see an industry go, but I mean, like, let me rephrase that: an established industry where everything was very clear and. But by the same token, it's exciting that there's this new avenue of just doing it yourself
Of
and
course.
creating your own thing and not having to answer to anybody. I mean, it must be incredibly satisfying. You could just do the fuck you want, and all you really care about is your own opinion and the opinion of some like well chosen friends who know the me, right? I mean, basically,
Yeah,
I'm guessing that's what you're doing.
yeah. I mean, I care about well, I mean, I care about the ideas that Comicsgate espouses, because Comicsgate isn't like Gamergate. I mean, it's a different kind of uprising. We're not pointing the finger and trying to make changes in an industry that's enormous and healthy. We're trying to escape, an industry that is small and dying, and using what we perceive to be the reasons why it's dying, to build a smaller and new industry. Basically, I always compare it to this, like, Zach in Diversity in Comics last year. That was a big volcanic, fiery, destructive eruption. Like, he cut through the comic book industry and instilled fear in them because his criticism was so pointed. It was so dead on. It was so correct. And when he pointed the finger at you, it was because you were a troublemaker and you deserved to be called out. Now, Zach, because of that's like that kind of volcanic, like lava spewing, fiery, destructive, event can't last forever. But that lava settles and cools and becomes land, and that land is like Hawaii, and
Yeah.
that's kind of what Comicsgate Phase 2 is. It's like Zach is still kind of reviewing comic books, but he's already made all of the points that he needs to make. If you listen to him, he's correct. You know that he was the most important voice in comics from 2016, 2017, and 2018, I should say. But 2019 has to be. We have to resettle. We've got this. Picture Hawaii just after the volcano builds it. We've got these separate satellite islands. We have to build civilization on it, away from the
Yeah.
mainland, because the mainland it's toxic now. It's uninhabitable. So, I am pulling other creators along with me and saying, look, what have we learned? What have we learned from Diversity in Comics? What have we learned just from our own experience in comics? What are the customers telling us? And then how can we sort of establish a new industry of our own where we can be independent, and where people can come and we can keep SJWs out. It's small enough that we can keep these fuckers out.
Yeah.
That's vital. They're cancerous. We can't have them here. and make a lot more money, than we were making before. That's what Comicsgate kind of is. Gamergate didn't have that opportunity. I think they were just trying to make a point about the toxicity of SJWs within the video game industry and feminism and how women destroy male-dominated hobbies, which they do. Nobody
Yes.
likes to hear that, but you get in trouble for saying it. But women come in and destroy male-dominated hobbies. My
Yeah.
next comic book after this, I'll tell you, Coach, you tell me if you like this. You might not like it,
Let's hear the pitch.
but I trust you. Okay? I
Good.
trust your taste.
Okay.
So we all know at this point that women do come in and they like Star Wars, like video games. They come in and they feminize and destroy things that men like. They're going to come in. They're going to destroy the W. They're going to destroy wrestling. What is it now? Is it the WCW? Is that what WWF became, or the WWE? I'm not even sure. But anyway, they're going to come in there. They're going to invade wrestling. They're going to destroy that. It's like they're going to destroy everything that men like. I don't know why they're doing it, but they are.
Yeah.
So what my next comic book is I'm going to do a book in which I, as a toxically masculine gentleman, I invade all of these girls' properties from the 1980s, and I'm going to masculinize them.
That's pretty good.
The book is called Rainbow Brute, okay? And it basically takes Rainbow Bright, and he's this fairy god lord who lives over the rainbow. He dresses like Rainbow Bright, but he's a badass, okay? He's a badass. He choke slams unicorns. He drinks honeysuckle nectar and gets drunk and picks fights with the fucking Care Bears. Because he's like, he's got Grumpy Bear sitting next to him on a bar stool. Grumpy's whining, moaning the fucking blues to the bartender, and he's just like, "Will you shut the fuck up?" And Grumpy Bear's like, "Don't you care?" Like, he's like, "No, I don't. Nobody fucking cares. Okay, nobody cares. You don't say that you don't care to a Care Bear." So he gets in a fight with Grumpy Bear. I've got the Strawberry Shortcake Girls. They're like basically seductresses. They're whores who seduce. They seduce men with baked goods. It's like,
Yeah.
sounds great.
Yeah.
He rides a My Little Pony called My Girthy Stallion, called Napalm. Just a ton of dick jokes. My
pretty stallion.
Yeah. So I'm taking all these things like the Munchie Cheese are going to be these fucking apes that fall down from the trees and want to suck your thumb, and you're just like, get the fuck off of me. They're like, we want to suck you. I mean, it's the whole thing. Yeah, it should be. It's going to be the next thing. They're predicting it's going to be the first Comicsgate book to actually break $1 million in pre-order sales. This is what we have to do. We have to point the finger back at them, and we have to say, "How do you like it?" And by the way, when we do it, when men invade your shit, it sells. It works.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
That's screamingly okay. I mean, like, you really have to be up on the lore, on the background of that. It's not sort of like a standalone thing that you can catch on. You really have to know all the ins and outs. But it's gonna be so damn funny. Yeah, I'm totally behind it. God, it's just really, really funny.
So that's the next thing out of me. We're going to probably start crowdfunding that in February or March at this point, and we'll see how it does. But yeah, I mean, it's time to. It really is. It's time to take the fight back to the SJWs within this little. I know nobody cares here about comics. You're not a comics fan. Some of the people in the crowd are like, "Why the fuck are we talking about comics? They're dead." Well, it is my world. Like it's the industry that I devoted my life to, and the art form that I devoted my life to. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let it just die like this. I am going to fight back.
What happens is that see, I'm interested in this because it's just another, like you said, another male-dominated space that was taken over by women and what do they call it? Feminist allies. Mm-hmm. Okay, which I call them traitors because basically they're guys who just totally betray. Well, it's worse than that, okay? Because there's a meme. I don't know if I have it on my image scroll. I think I do. And the meme is simple. They're like some guys, nerdy guys playing their nerdy game. Okay. And some girls show up and say, "Oh, that looks like fun. Let me try it out." And okay, fine. And then the girls start playing, and then these Chad guys who don't shit about the hobby show up because they're there because of the girls. and whatever the girls want, and the girls want to change the game. And since these Chads here, who don't really fit in, don't really care, but numerically they bulk up the place, their vote override the original guys who were interested in some hobby or some pastime or whatever, and squeezes out the diehards. The diehards leave, and the girls onto something else, and the Chads follow the girls, and the hobby or whatever activity is dead. It's corpse just strewn, and we see this again and again, and it's just so frustrating. Like, see, how could I put it? It's a classic sexual dynamic. Guys will go where the girls are, and the girls always want to be a part of something that they're like not supposed to be a part of, or they're not.
True.
Yeah, and they gravitate towards it, and they wedge themselves in. I mean, look, think about it. It is practically illegal to have a men's only club. And if you have a men's only club, I mean, look at the Proud. They got declared like terrorist or whatever. I know that.
Dude,
it
look at
wasn't
the
actually-
Boy Scouts of
The
America.
Boy Scouts, yeah.
What the hell is going on?
Yeah. Yeah, what the
And
fuck
then
is
did you
going
see-
on there? Is it? Yeah, it's bankrupt.
It's gone.
I
It's
know.
it's now. It's bankrupt perhaps, but they decided first. It's like, okay, so gay scoutmasters, you can't discriminate. They are male. So then the gay scoutmasters were allowed to come in. That's it's debatable. That's fine.
No, that's not bad.
And then but then it became, why are you discriminating against women? I mean, it was just like, so now women get to be Boy Scouts. And I'll tell you something. The thing about this is that once they do this, once these SJWs do this, they put on, I read it in that Vox Day book, SJWs always double down.
Yeah.
They put on the institution that they have killed and skinned, and they wear it like a skin suit and dance around. So there's a Nestle bar commercial that is just unbelievable. I think Mark Dice showed it. And what it was it's a Muslim woman, with the whole costume, and she's dressed like a Boy Scout. She's got the whole Boy Scout thing on,
And a hijab.
and a hijab. But I mean, she's got the whole Boy Scout costume on, and she's eating a Nestle bar, and she's just like, I can't even remember what the thing is, but it was like, Nestle, we're equality for all, and she's like leering at the camera, like, look what we did. We took Boy Scouts. I mean, it's like it's a female and a Muslim, so eat that, eat that, Midwest. Absolutely hateful. Do they care about the Boy Scouts? They don't care about the Boy Scouts. They care about having defeated another American institution. These SJWs.
Basically, yeah. Damn, man. I mean, like, okay, what the fuck was the Girl Scouts for? Can I ask the obvious question? Jesus Christ. But
Selling cookies.
Well, the other thing I find just bizarre is this transsexual thing. How transsexuality has become normalized and it's fucking fashionable. And the only people who are on the left who are fighting this are real feminists, which I find hilarious.
They're fighting transgender.
There's something called TERFs, TERF, Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminists, and they are die-hard to transsexuals because they say that transsexuals are men. And they're like, they sound like fucking Jess Holmes, for crying out loud. It's fucking funny. They are. I talked to one called Taylor Fogarty last year, and like this radical feminist. I'm not sure lesbian or not. I think she might be. I'll TBD. But she's like left wing all the way, right? But she was so above transsexuals because she said that they're men. What the fuck? Like in all these sports, these transies are beating the girls, and it's just absurd and hilarious and just bizarre, and I don't see where this is going to end, to tell you, because they're normalizing pedophilia. That's the thing that they're doing.
Dude, that is happening right now on Twitter. The normalization of pedophilia. These these maps, you know about them, right?
Which ones are they?
Okay, so Twitter means they're hiding amongst Twitter. They've created a new acronym called MAPS, minor attracted person.
Yes, that
something.
Yeah, but the non-active minor attracted person or something like that. I think bullshit like that. Yeah, it's basically they're coming out. They're coming out and they're gonna fuck your little kids. That's what they want to do. It's just fucking bizarre. And people are like okay with this shit. Do you think that Ethan, do you think there'd be like a tipping point where people say fuck
Yeah.
off
Fuck off to what?
to all
To
this
SJW?
insanity?
No, it's just gonna get worse and worse. I can't picture. Well, I don't know. Wait a second. Look, there's always a segment of society that does stand up and say fuck off. I'm proud of my son's generation. He's 19 years old.
Uh-huh.
His friends all do the wrecked feminist channels on YouTube. I mean, they're all really, really conservative because their parents are SJWs.
Right.
Their parents are
Typical.
my generation, and we're fucking assholes. So it's like those kids hate their parents, and they're Trump supporters. They're really great. I mean, these kids are great. So I think that there's hope. I think generations kind of switch back and forth. Their kids will probably be liberals, but for the most part, yeah, I just think it's going to get worse and worse. Now, the pedophilia thing, the way it's sneaking in, is really insidious. It's like, hey, I'm going to just announce, and it's happening slowly, and there is heavy resistance to it, but the resistance will eventually break down. Hey, I am a minor. They'll say, I'm a minor attracted person, but I'm totally against contact. Like, listen, I just like to think about it. I talk about it. We draw pictures of it or whatever we're doing. I don't know what these people do. But I am against. I think contact is terrible, and you're supposed to look at them and go, "Oh, so
Sure.
you're just, that's cool. You're attracted to little children." By the way, and they have like age ranges. They go, "I'm attracted. My age of interest is like from 3 to like 30."
God. Oh God.
I mean, can you
Oh
imagine that?
God.
They give each other
Yeah.
those margins, like, and you're just supposed to go, well, as long as you're not contacting kids, then I guess that's okay. Like, these people need to be flung into the sun via trebuchet. You can't allow these people to exist in society, and they do, and they're getting bolder and bolder. I mean, this maps thing is super, super creepy.
Yeah.
And I had this kind of happen to me, just yesterday. A famous comic book writer reached out to me and basically said, I want to work with you because I've got extreme anti-feminist views, and I've been ostracized from comics for 20 years. I know this guy's work; he's great. And I said, well, what do you want to do? I'll help you promote a new comic if you want to kind of get into Comicsgate. He said, no, I want to help you write Cyberfrog. That's where the money is, Cyberfrog. I'm like, all right, this guy's a great writer, so of course. So these anti-Comicsgate SJWs, and they're ferocious and obsessive. Let me know. They found something of him talking about a beautiful, like describing a 14-year-old girl who turned out to be 13 years old, in that kind of a way. Talking about how 14-year-old girls are super pretty, and all this stuff, and I'd never touch them until
God.
but yeah, like these young intolerable, absolutely intolerable. And what I was saying before is that, like, they presented this to me, like these SJWs, these anti-comic skaters, they're always trying to trip me up. They presented this to me in the hopes that I would defend him. Well, he didn't touch her until she was 21, blah, 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 and stick up for him, and then they'd hit me with another piece of evidence, and before you know it, I've talked my way into defending a pedophile, perhaps. I don't know. I didn't know anything about this guy. So I just fired him right away. It's like I just called him up and said, you're fucking fired. I don't know what this is, but I don't want it around me. And just announced on Twitter, hey, that's it. He's fired. Done. He's not writing any Cyberfrog. I'm writing it myself.
No, that's
These SJWs got upset.
they got upset that you
They got
fired
upset.
a pedophile or
Yeah, they wanted me to fall into their trap, and so they got upset and they turned the other way. They went, well, what do you just fire people arbitrarily? He didn't touch her when she was 14. Like, they started defending him. I couldn't believe it. Like, this is the thing. We were talking about this earlier. It's like they choose a position and they try to, and once they hear your position, they have to make sure they're at 180-degree opposite of you, because they don't want to agree with you about anything. Even if it's completely immoral, they will take the opposite position.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
fight.
Well, you're seeing it now, like with the Trump situation with Syria, and he pulls out of Syria, which is objectively a good move. It will lead to less bloodshed and less of a disaster area. It is objectively good. And
Hmm.
just because Trump did, all of a sudden, no, we have to go to war. We have to kill more people there. It's just bizarre. It's they are willing to entertain the most awful notions just because
They
they're
got it.
getting at somebody that they don't like. Their hatred is
Yeah.
their hatred for you, their hatred for a whole bunch of people, is overrides any other consideration. You can never they can never say that this guy's my enemy, but he's doing something good. They cannot, and he could be you could be like just deliver flowers to people, and they'd say, oh, whatever, flowers are evil or crap like that.
What is that? What is that impulse, Coach?
It's hatred.
It's just hate.
Yeah, yeah. I've given it a
That's
lot of
weird.
thought. I think that it's basically that. See, it keeps you warm. Okay, that's something that people don't miss. And it happens to all of us. I mean, hasn't it happened to you at some point in your life? You're very at some point in your life, everybody's happened to that they're very unsuccessful. It's happened to you. It's happened to me. But we all go through periods where we're very unsuccessful. We're very lone. We're at the bottom. We're at the bottom. And a lot of what we start doing, we start fantasizing. Oh, when I make it big, I'm gonna fuck them. I'm gonna fuck these guys who fucked me over
Yeah.
or whatever. Which is
Yeah.
it's a total normal human reaction. It's juvenile and stupid, of course, okay? Because more often than not, the hole that you're in is probably because of your own make or your own flaws that are not allowing you to get out of that hole, right?
Right.
But your reaction is blame themselves. Nobody wants to look at the mirror and say, "Oh yes, my lack of steadiness and creativity and this or that, the other is the reason I'm in the hole." Nobody wants to say that. They all want to say, "Oh yeah, it's John Smith who fucked me over," right?
Hmm.
That hatred, and also loneliness. And never underestimate the power of loneliness. And a lot of people who are SJWs are extremely lonely, and they're extremely resentful because of this and their fear. Because we look at our society, and there are no social structures to prop you up if things go bad. You're on your own. Now that's some people can handle that, and some can't, and it fills them with dread. It fills us all with a little bit of fear. Some people are able to channel their fear into more productive outlets that lead to success, and they no longer have that fear. Whereas others, they just stew in it. And so they have to find other people who feel the same. And you ask ex-SJWs, and a lot of them are going to say that they were lonely and resentful, found other people who were equally lonely and resentful. And they would latch on to these resentments, and it's like, yeah, we're all together. We feel part of a team.
Oh, you're so right.
You see what I'm saying? You play ball in your day, or some whatever sport, baseball or whatever.
Baseball.
Okay. Now you're in your team. Maybe you're little league. Maybe you took it seriously. I have no idea. But you are in your team, right? And when somebody fucks up, right, you're like, oh damn. But you don't think he fucked up. He's an idiot. No, you're thinking, damn, it was like bad luck. And when you all win, it's all together, and you're all pulling together, and you feel part of the team, right? And it's a lovely feeling because you don't feel alone. You feel like you're a part of something, and that whatever anybody does, it's like you did it, right? When your teammate home run, right, that wins the game. Yeah, it's John Smith hit the home run, but you feel that it's your too. You did it too because you're part of the team, and you don't feel so alone. And
This is exactly why I came on this show. This is why I wanted to talk to you. This is the missing puzzle piece. This is what it's all about. This explains everything.
Yeah, it's not complicated, or at least I don't see it as complicated. I mean, you think I'm full of shit, or if it's on the money.
No, you are 100% on the money. I realize this because I have some unfortunate former friends who once they saw me kind of break away, again, my being a Trump supporter changed everything. I lost a ton of friends. I lost a ton of acquaintances, and basically I became absolutely radioactive. If you are to be my friend in public, you're gonna get your ass chewed. I mean, these people are gonna tear you up. So only I surround myself by only the very most the loyal people who I can trust, and loyalty has become a big thing for me, a big thing, more so than ever before. It is unmasculine, it's fucking pussy, to be disloyal. Can't
Yeah,
stand it.
I agree.
Loyalty,
I
under
agree.
take heavy fire together. I mean, I've been Diversity Comics friend. I've taken heavy fire for that, and I will never stop being his friend ever.
Yeah.
He stood by me. I'm going to stand by him. So, these people who faded away, I know, it's like, I know the circumstances of their lives. One of these loudmouths is a guy who confessed to me. He was my friend. He told me, he sat down with me and he said, I left my wife. Why'd you leave your wife? I left my wife and my family. Well, she was completely unattracted to me, and she wouldn't let me put my mouth on her. Okay. Like, I know this about this dude. He's like, I like to go down on women, and my wife wouldn't. She thought I was disgusting and wouldn't let me touch her.
Okay.
Now this dude, and he's like, but I got divorced, and Ethan, I'm all over this hooker. I'm all over this
Jesus.
hooker I met. I'm like, you're going down on a hooker, you disgusting Canadian F. And yeah, he is. So like, I know this dude, and I know his pain. And it's like, he is one of these guys now who's cheerleading this fight against me. Now, I got divorced too a year
Mhm.
before him.
Mhm.
But I did a backflip, triple axle, landed right on my feet, and married my high school, like the girl I wanted to marry in high school. We
Mhm.
found each other, have a kid and everything, big house in the nicest part of South Jersey. And everything's great. Now, these people look at me. This guy's looking at me. He left his wife, and he's sucking uh,
A hooker's
the
twat.
pussy of a hooker.
That's oh
You know what I mean?
God.
You're still alone. You can shave your head and you can smoke cigars, and look cool and stuff, but you're alone, and of course you resent me. Of course you do.
Yeah.
Of course you do. And so that is all that hatred, that seething hatred is jealousy. It's loneliness.
Yeah.
It comes down to that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Where do I find my warmth? I find it in other people who have similar feelings. People who who
Well, look,
also hate.
I've experienced this online. Your YouTube channel, it started up, and people are saying all kinds of bullshit about me because I have my life more or less together. Like, look, I started as a screenwriter and a novelist, right? And A Moment in the
Yeah.
Sun, and I sold a bunch of books for a bunny back in the day. My last novel, published novel, was it was purchased outright by Miramax for Anthony Minghella to write and direct and to produce with Solak. Well, unfortunately, Minghella died, and so that never happened, right? But, I had my moment in the sun, and I moved on to producing movies in South America. And from that led into just different business ventures. They were successful. And basically, I got to a point where, I'm 50, I'm basically retired. And so, yeah, and for various
Good.
reasons that are sort of like happening now, I got a little bit freaked out, let me see, in 2016, because things just seemed and frankly, I lost my nerve insofar as investing and getting into potentially risky businesses, because just the economic situation just did not seem sound to me anymore. And well, now that's what's happening now as of late. That sort of like rates my thinking. And so during this break that I took, I'm going to do these YouTube videos because I married late in life. I married just the one time. I married my wife, and I was got married in 13. I was 45, and she was 22. And we've got two small children. My daughter is 5, and my son is 3. And I realized that by the time they read my life lessons, if you will, like good solid advice, they'll be in their 20s and their 30s, and I'll be in my 70s or dead, or a complete drool. So it would be smart to do like videos that would like address common concerns or issues that they have when older, and just have like a register of that. And so I started videos just for the hell of it, and it engendered a great deal of resentment among a few people, and people I criticize, like some members of the skeptic community whom I think are full of shit. It led to a lot of bullshitizations directed towards me that's completely unfounded. Or there's like a little nugget of truth, but is like sort of inconsequential, but it's like twisted around to make it seem as negative as well. And it's resentment. It's resentment and envy. And see, Ethan, I'm not an envious guy. You're driving on a Ferrari. I'm like, man, lucky bastard.
Good for
But
you.
but I look at you and I don't think, Ethan is an evil bastard because he drives a Ferrari. I'm saying Ethan's a lucky bastard that he's driving a Ferrari, and that's that. That's all I think about. But I don't
envy anyone either. Yeah, I don't understand people who are full of just jealous. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy. I'm quite content. I wouldn't trade places with anybody.
Yeah, exactly. And also, see, on the outside, you might see somebody's, and it might seem great, but then you living that life, you start to realize some of the hidden costs and the hidden pressures and the hidden frustrations and unhappiness. You see what I'm saying? You see people on the red carpet, and they're all dressed shiny and pretty. Ditto with line world. You see people online in videos or podcasts or whatever, and they seem they seem perfect, right? But just what you're seeing, you're not living their lives, right? And so that's why I never envied anybody, because I know for a fact they've got a lot of their lives that they're very unhappy about. I'll tell you a story that this is sort of like off point, but something that, to tell you the truth, has been troubling me as of the last few days. See, I knew this guy. I lived in Paris back in 2011, 2012. I lived there for about a year. And there's this guy. He was an American. And he was a successful entrepreneur. And he was living in Paris with his family, and everything seemed copacetic, right? This guy was exactly 10 years older than me. We were like, not friends, but friendly, Sort of like we had dinner a few times, it was like a laugh, and it was fun to hang out with. The rest of it, fine. And recently I found out that he committed suicide.
Jesus.
And he was 60. And he was going through a bitter divorce. But okay, this guy, I guesstimate that he had a net worth of 20 million, something like that. He had 2 kids, healthy. Apparently, there was some tension or friction with his kids, but his kids were both in college. Like I said, he had the money to pay for everything. He had a bitter divorce, yeah, sure, but when you're sitting on top of mill, right? Your material life is not going to substantially change. I mean, your day-to-day life. You're not going to be in the poorhouse, okay? Not the best of times in his life, to commit suicide over that. So you start to realize that what other problems he might have had, are secret in me. We only saw it from the outside. I only saw it from the outside. I saw it from the outside and it seemed great. He had this great apartment in a very exclusive neighborhood in Paris, and he owned it, 5-bedroom place. I mean, that's like 4 or 5 million euros. He's a rich guy. And he winds up killing himself. Right? So to envy somebody else is stupid. You never know what's going on, what hidden costs. But SJWs don't see that. They just see the shiny, pretty surface, and they react to it the way like the way that a dog will react to, I don't know. Actually, the only thing I can think of is like when a dog reacts to homeless guys. Have you ever seen dogs and homeless guys? They always seem to attack them for some reason. Well, I used to have a dog, and she hated homeless guys. Whenever she saw a homeless guy, she'd bark and just get enraged. And she was a pretty chill dog. She wasn't, I had her for years until she passed away. And she was pretty relaxed, right? But whenever she's homeless guy, she'd like react violently. I've talked to other dog owners who say the same thing. It's just some weird reaction. But anyway, SJWs to people's lives because they are resentful. They are angry. And notice all the socialist, the socialist regimes, they make everything dull, ugly. Their aesthetic is dull and ugly. And there's a reason for that, because they resent that. They resent that, are pretty. They don't want other people to have pretty things, or live in a pretty place. They resent that. It's my theory, and
Well, I think it also, if somebody else is happy and healthy and seems all right and has doesn't display overt inner turmoil the way these people do. I mean, it just reflects back further on them. I mean, they wonder what's wrong with them. That's a question that these people don't want to think about. They
yeah,
don't want to face the idea that it could be something wrong with them and not just society. That maybe the breaks that they've gotten don't apply to entire groups of people. That their failures can't be explained away by this. What is it called again? What is that thing that they believe in about different groups of people? Shit.
what intersectionality?
Intersectionality. Thank you. I love that. That's my new word. Intersectionality. Yeah, like if their problems can't be explained away, like like everybody has the same problems for the same shallow reasons. It is cognitive dissonance. I mean, it really does bother
Oh,
them, and it throws them into a fit.
yeah,
It's a fucking
it
fit.
certainly does. Let me knock out some super chats that have piled up. I've been remiss on this issue.
Okay.
Josh Rodriguez says the wall is to keep us trapped. I'm not quite so sure, Josh. Dollars or $1.99 from message deleted, and I have no idea where it came from. Thank you, message deleted. Another nobody. Coach Buffalo, are you a size 14? That's a reference to Silence of the Lambs. Oh, I'm scared. Kitty Style.
It's your voice. It's your voice. They're making fun of your voice the whole time.
Oh, okay, okay.
Your microphone.
Oh, it's gone Barry White again?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It has? Oh,
Yeah, and they were pissed at you. These people think that I don't watch the chat, that like nobody watches the chat. I was watching the chat. They were saying, "Oh yeah, your microphone. He's Barry White or he's Buffalo Bill, one of the two."
oh man, hang on. Let me just reset it.
Am I Buffalo Bill again?
You
Chat.
sound perfectly normal to me.
Yeah, I know. Oh man, chat. So I'm sounding like I've been sounding like Buffalo Bill this whole conversation. It's the microphone. I don't know what it's doing. Chat, tell us. Do I sound like Buffalo Bill? Press 1 if yes, and if I sound normal, press 0. Press 1 if I sound like Buffalo Bill or Barry White, and press 0 if I sound normal. I think Chad's gonna
Like
fuck with
finally,
me
after an hour.
badly. I think they're gonna fuck with me very badly on this question.
Of course.
Chat is just naughty, naughty. Okay. So anyway, yeah, I'll do the super chats whether I'm Buffalo Bill or CRP. Okay, Kitty Style says, "Get me in. Give call in link CRP unless scared." Do you know
Oh yeah,
who's Kitty
I don't
Style
know who
is?
it is, but I saw that person acting up in the chat. They wanted to lay into you about something.
Well, just lay into me on super chats. I answer everything on super chats. Okay, on just regular chat, no, I'll blow it off. But if you pay me $2 or whatever, I feel an obligation to answer anything. Okay, so yeah, so Kitty Style, you've been warned, if you will, or I hope you've set straight here. Send me a super chat and anything you have to say, Kitty Style, I will read it and I will answer it. Yeah. Edwin Boyette, great choice with Sim EVS. We have to establish moral clarity. Our opponents won't. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
Shit.
right.
So this whole thing, I've been sounding like Barry White. Damn. Let me